What's up, Blazies? It's Casey Ariel, founder of Blaze Group and your host of Blaze Group Radio. I will be talking about the intersections of Black womanhood, entrepreneurship, news on the culture, and healing as we climb. I launched Blaze Group after spending a decade in corporate America structuring multi-billion-dollar loans for large tech firms, but never once working on a deal team with another Black woman. I left to take world-class knowledge to the streets. Blaze means building leaders and accepting zero excuses, and we go beyond the bare minimum. More than solutions, we create lifelines that help Black women become as limitless as they feel. Snuggle up to this episode. May it feel as safe and nourishing as Big Mama's house did. What's up, Blazies? It is Tuesday, January the 23rd. If you've been rocking with us for a while, please do rate the show, subscribe so that you don't miss an episode, and know that I am deeply grateful that you are giving me the opportunity and other Blazies in the tribe to hold your hand on the journey, to hope with you, to pray with you, to believe with you, and to affirm that what you are doing matters. And you, specifically you, taking up space in your industry is so important. Today I want to spend some time talking about the importance of planning for uncertainty. And not just the importance of it, but how you can do so. I'm going to share 8 different ways that I tend to plan for uncertainty. There's so many ways to do so. These are not in any particular order. But I do want to share how you can not necessarily control what happens to you, but have levers to pull when the unexpected does occur. Okay? So to start, I want you to think about the act of planning for uncertainty as risk management. And risk management is this cute term that a lot of corporations and mature enterprises use to define how they have set in place guardrails and tactics to limit their downside. Risk management is equivalent to planning for uncertainty, and it is the act of setting guardrails, establishing tactics, right? And proactively doing things that can limit your downside, okay? And as entrepreneurs, it is so important that we plan for the unexpected. Okay. Now, when I say this, know that I feel you. Okay. It takes money to make money. We know that, right? And so the things that I list are not overly expensive. They will not require you emptying out your bank account. And these are only some examples of many. Okay. So one thing that I love to do is to plan for the worst case scenario, right? So say I am hosting a summit, which I do every single year. I used to do them twice a year, right? And I plan for the worst case scenario, right? What is my cost to pull this thing off? And what's the worst that can happen, right? Is it that we get no sponsors? Is it that only 5 vendors buy booths and not 25? Right? Not 40, right? What's the worst that can happen? What does that result in terms of cash flow, right? And then what am I going to do about it? I do that at the onset of planning so that my pricing, my strategies, the people that I have on standby, the people that I've primed already for the just in case scenarios, they are already aware that I may need to pull some levers right, to make this thing happen. And by doing so, the upside, right, the event that something better than the worst happens, right, we're good. I do this when I'm planning in-person events. I do this when I'm planning international immersion, group coaching experiences. I do this when I'm planning for the year, right? So when I planned for 2024, I said, okay, I'm going to think about this year conservatively, right? If all else fails, I know I'm going to only make this amount of money, right? And so what does that cover? And how do I make sure I'm in a position, right, where I at least cover the basics? Anything that's extra is just upside, right? Another tactic can be looking at the predictability of your revenue, right? And if things are too episodic, if they are not predictable enough, right, really tweaking your strategy to at least have some predictable revenue. For some folks, you might want that to be 90%. For some of you might want it to be 50%, whatever, right? But a tactic around risk management is really strengthening the predictability of your revenue. For some, that is getting a 9-to-5 or a side hustle or driving Uber, whatever, right? To make sure that there is some predictability to what they're going to make. For others, it may be freelancing on the side as a consultant, as an advisor, as a tutor, whatever, right? And being on these retainers for a year at a time. There's so many approaches to this, but predictability of revenue is definitely something that I use as a strategy all the time, and making sure that my monthly recurring revenue is at a high level inside of the business, so I'm not stressed and worried about the episodic purchase behavior of consumers. Business development is a fancy word in corporate that describes, really nurturing leads and having a robust client opportunity pool. And you can also think about that as client relationship management if you want recurring revenue from those same clients, like repeat purchases from existing clients. So client relationship management is another term that would describe, keeping people close by so that when you do want to, even if it's unexpected for you, right? Even if you need to flip into something quickly, you have a very healthy pool of folks that you can tap to exchange value with, right? Business insurance, of course, is a way to cover yourself against unexpected adverse events. So if you don't have business insurance, if you're not covered in case you're sued, or covered in case you damage property of a client, covered in case you cause your client to lose revenue, right? Definitely look into insurance. LegalZoom has some insurance partners. Mylo, M-Y-L-O, offers business insurance, but that's a way, right? Of course, having a nest egg and savings is a way to plan for unexpected things that arise, right? But you can also think about what's called receivables financing, right? If you're let's say you're using Bill.com to receive invoices from some clients, some large size invoices for some clients, right? You send them invoices through Bill.com. And they pay you on that same portal, right? Well, Bill.com offers receivables financing. Well, they say, hey, do you want to receive money on this invoice 60 days early? And you can say, yeah, I do. And they'll just take off 3% of what you would have made otherwise. They make that 3%, right? And then you get the full amount, the rest, the remaining, the 97%, right? But you can always tap those types of things when you need it, when unexpected, cash drains come up, when you're just a few days out from receiving money, but you need to make a big payment, whatever. Friends and family, of course, should be an option, right? And I'm not saying that they're going to say yes, and your mind is just healthy to think about, letting some folks in on your journey that would love to be in on it, right? My father and my brother are so huge, in the growth story of my business, right? As it relates to planning for uncertainty, they have been there. Now, at the same time, I've kept them abreast of what my strategy is. I always have a very granular, detailed plan on how I'm going to use whatever funds I need to be fronted for whatever amount of time, right? But that goes outside of my household, right? My husband and I definitely, go hard in the paint for what we're building. But I also have, the stomach to let folks outside of my household in on what I need. And then lastly, I'll say, other revenue streams should be considered, right? So I talked about a case of, being an entrepreneur, but also tutoring on the side. Maybe also having some other side gig, whether it's a 9 to 5 or driving Uber, right? Whatever. But when you have various revenue streams, it can help you to press the gas on marketing of something, right? Or the hours you put in on something at any given time to offset shortfalls in other areas. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. Thank y'all so much for rocking with the pod. It means a lot. All of the messages that I get, the voice notes, feel free to drop voice notes. I love them. I actually play them on air when I do receive them. Please do rate the show and please do subscribe. I hope that I can show up in your life more than your haters do, more than your doubts do, more than your fears ever will. Until next time, peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to Blaze Group Radio. Remember, you have not yet met all of the people in your life who are going to love you, so keep going. Download the Blaze Group app for day-to-day support on your entrepreneurial journey. Until next time.